Good afternoon, friends. Today we are going to share more information on learning homeopathic medicines from our treasure books. Friends, our human life are empowered with infinite capacity of courage and confidence. This has enabled him to undertake any adventurous activity and survive even in the extreme climate. And in any corner of the world, universe, and being surrounded by any unforeseen situations which may happen without any prior informations, human being get adapted to any types of situations. It is a fearless feature that makes us to feel confident even in the most extreme situations. Lives on the mountain and valley, and then also in the icebergs, the Eskimos, and the extreme temperature of the North Pole and the South Pole brings us a better understanding how the human being have been empowered. And every time there are the opportunity of being injured, but in spite of these facts, we are not getting, they are surviving. It is not the survival, it is only the confidence that makes them to stay. And those people who don't have the courage and those people who don't have the confidence in themselves, they only seek for the ease of the life. So the quality of the human being is to search for the extreme of the life and for the adventure. Adventures and excitements are very much related to each other. And today's medicines that we are going to see, it is gives you a very vivid impressions about this aspect of the human life. Friends, the Arnica montana, which has been named as Panacea Lapsorum, is one of the most ancient herbal discovery for the humankind. It has been associated with our injury. It has been associated with as a remedial or the first approach for the survival of our life. Today we are going to discuss and see into details the understanding on the Arnica montana of the present situation, as well as the Arnica montana as we have perceived in the homeopathic system of medicine. Friends, we are aware how the lives on mountains and valley are adventurous and exciting. See, whenever you travel to the high platitudes of the mountains, you feel excited and adventurous. And it is only with the courage that you can stay there. And there is a great danger with every possibility for falls and getting injured and abused. The moment you are careless, the moment you are become heedless, you become the victim of injury or being killed. The death, the life living at this high altitudes and the mountainous region, the most extreme conditions for the human life, and it is one of the examples that we see the human beings surviving and creating beautiful kingdom around themselves at this high altitude, and they feel satisfied, peaceful, and they are the peace-loving people. They find themselves confident that nothing is going to happen to them. And they don't speak about the danger. And this is the unique feature for survival among the odds. Better way to hide pain coming from the accidental injury is to ignore and feel well even during the extreme of the emergency. See, it is likely that every day you are encountering some accidental injury. Some pains are coming, but among this pain, only things that give you the most important, the feeling of the peace and the confidence and the freedom that you feel at these high altitudes. Friends, it is only the courageous sensation towards adventurous life that allow living on the top of the mountain. Just see how the human beings have created their universe, created their own life, and created their own place of living and working there. And they born at those places, they die at that places, and they live the full length of their life. So this is unique features that we all human beings are empowered. But what happens? Many of us are not able to live for even for 1 hour at these places. Why? Because we don't have the courage. We don't have, and we are not used up. We are not adapted to this type of the situations. So we feel only with the excitement we can go for the walking, or we can go for it as a tourism features, but not to live there permanently. So it is the courage that you can see among these mountainous people, and that makes them to survive in this ordinary situations. Safe feeling in the lap of nature as mother. So what we feel about our mother? She is our enemy? No. Only we have to abide by the law of the natures and the law of the mother. What the mother teaches you, that you have to be peaceful, keep a peace in the mind, and with this, even if you are in danger or even if you get injured, there are the numerous herbal features that can be healed as a balm for the wound thus created, and do not allow to experience the pain. Friends, mountainous regions of the globe are filled with the medicinal plant to help surviving from the injury thus created. And exploring nature of human had these herbs right from the earliest state of the civilization. So the parallel side by side we go. We keep ready to face the danger, and to keep ready, we keep on exploring the new herbs every day. The search for the herb, the human life and the human science and the medical science had stored in itself the vast number of the medicinal substance which they feel, and that can be utilized at any moment for any problem during their life. It is only requires exploration. So exploring and surviving are the important features for the life. To keep exploring and the possibilities to keep themselves safe. This is the characteristic feature of the very courageous man. Friends, folklore's nature of exploring has gifted human with vast treasure of as remedies for all sickness, and solution lies close to the problem. What we can see, whenever there is a problem, problems are not far, the solutions are not far away. We see the problems and there are the remedies. So what just we have to see beyond around yourself. Where is the problem and where is the solution? This can be easily decided, and this can be easily explored. So the medical approach is very much important to understand. If the problem arises in the life, what we have to do? We have to only create a look around the patient, look around his problems, and those problems will give you the right and accurate medicinal information. Among many remedies representing solutions for injury prevention, earliest explorations of Arnica became so much popular. The people of the region used to name their children as Arnica to remain protected from falling and getting injured. In the mountainous region, you go and they give their girl child the name Arnica with the love and faith that the girl will remain protected from any type of the falls and the injury or from the some demonic powers. So this name has been become the folklore for the and it is a common features for the mountainous people living on the high altitude to name their children as Arnica. And it is only the stand up. With the stand up, we will go home across the mountain. This is possible. And in Germany, the Arnica is known commonly as Undkraut, the und herb, and Brug fracture herb, and Fallkraut means fall herb. So it is a und herb, it is a fracture herb, and it is fall herb. It has been used for the wounds, it has been used for the fractures, it has been used for the herb, for fall. And it is referred to the mountain. Arnica, Montana, and Montana, you have to stand up and go home. Stow up and go home in. The German says, stow up and go home. And with this stand up and go home theme, if you keep on your leg, you can go back to your place of living, survival, safe. So being on the leg and being footed, and that means you must have the courage. Legs don't carry your weight, only courage carry your weight of the life. Friends, it has been known as Panacea Lapsorum. One can observe the injury groups of medicinal plants growing on the mountain. Arnica montana, as name suggests, was discovered as early as in where it served the nickname as Panacea Lapsorum. Arnica montana is traditionally known as Fallkraut. That means it supports all type of the fall. It is a furry coated feature getting expressed as leopards became popular as a leopard bane or the ulven, the bestow well-being. It is not related to the leopard. It is related to the having a bestowing well-being, having a blessings of remaining well or healthy. It is wild flowering plants from the mountainous prepasture of Europe, which grows on the granite or siliceous ground soil at the altitude up to 2,500 meters. Arnica has been used in magic. These are the mythological understanding to increase the harvest and to stop spirit from entering or living in the area. This herb of Freya, one of the 9 sacred midsummer herbs, was also used in weather magic as an incense. It is said that Goethe appreciated the benefit of Arnica. He regularly brewed Arnica tea to help recover from heart attack. His health eventually improved and played in the part of Arnica. Arnica is probably the most well-known homeopathic medicines included in every first aid kit in every home where homeopathy is used. Now, homeopathy, this Arnica montana has become the household name among all the flock, all the society, everywhere. Wherever there is injury or falls comes, the first name goes to for the Arnica. It is also most overused medicine, and this has made it some misuse of this medicine, and besides because of the misunderstanding that is being created with that every injury, friends, this is a good reminder for all of us that every injury is not the injury because of the Arnica research cause. There are the other causes also, and homeopathic materia medica is filled with so many numbers of the injury medicines. Injury are the features where do you feel bad, where you feel pain, where your inflammations get eroded, and the things which makes you brings negative feeling or bad feeling. They are the injurious situations. The disappointment are the injurious situations. Love, disappointments, failures, loss of property, these are the injurious situations for the mind. And similarly, the physical aspect is also getting injured from the in a mechanical way or in a pathological way. So being injury is one of the important features, and that's why, because of the individuality, we have several number of the homeopathic medicines included in the injury groups. Arnica appears in most closer to the world host of the night as the night deepens. See, the night is becomes the problem. Why? Because the night, it is said that the ghosts are living there and they will empower you, they will caught hold of you, and they become the problem. We may observe proud, overconfident, egotistic persons during the day. During the day, they have the confidence, they are egoist, and they are very joyous, and they feel proud. But you can experience the same persons becoming fearful in the night, terrified child at night at the mercy of the supernatural. And the problem arises where? When we don't have the answer, when we don't have the reply, when we don't have the solutions, and that moment brings you the problem. The daytime Arnica, I like to deny or laugh at the idea that paranormal may even brag about courage if with such things. But the night time, Arnica would be frightened wreck as the witching hours approaches, convinced that all sign points to their death. So Arnica people are very much courageous during the daytime, but during the night time they lose their courage because they feel helpless for want of the information, for want of the knowledge, what is going on in the darkness, what will happen in the darkness. So Arnica people have got a great fear for the darkness. They seek knowledge, they want to remain with the knowledge, they want to remain with the light. Arnica belongs to one of the largest family Astraceae or the Compositae, which contains flowering plant of 32,930 accepted species in 1911 genera and 13 subfamilies. The largest family living on this planet, largest family, the Compositae family. Compositae stands for remaining in homogeneous, in group, in a composition. And the plant, you see the flower, you see the petals, and they look like a composite plant, composing flower, and they are very important features for. So people who live into this type of the phenomena, they have the understanding what is the importance of living in the community, living in the society, and even at the high altitude of the mountain, they create a small society of their own. They don't live alone. They gradually create a community, a village, and a small culture among themselves. This is the habitat of the Arnica people belonging to the composite nature. The beautiful yellow flower blossoms of wild Arnica is treasured as a medicine for centuries. It is protected in many parts of the Europe to prevent its disappearance from our mountains. Now, what in the present, the modernity is devouring the mountainous region. plants are being cut, trees are being cut, and it is made converted to concrete things. So deserts, but yet there are the realizations where it has to be preserved, where the nature has to be preserved, and there are re-emergence of the this aspect of attitudes towards the nature. Arnica montana, mountain tobacco, it is also known as leopard bean, wound herb, and fracture wound herb or the fall herb. USSR has published a beautiful stamp on the arnica, on this arnica. It is used in the Russian flops of the flop medicines. So arnica is not in one corner of the world, in any corner of the world where there are the mountains, where there are the community living on the mountain. So arnica represents the community, the group of people living on the mountain. It belongs to the plant kingdom plant with magnoliophyte. Its class is Magnoliophyta and its astralis. Family is Astraceae. It is also known as Compositae, and genus Arnica, and the species is montana. And the binomial nomenclature is Arnica montana. See, the another stamp of the Arnica. It is in the post-Romana. Everywhere in the world, they have recognized the importance of the Arnica and created a souvenir of the Arnica in the form of a stamp. Arnica montana comes under the genus Arnica. It is the tall, aromatic, fragrant, perennial herbs with hairy flowers composed of yellow disc flood in the center and orange-yellow ray floret at the external part. The flowering seasons is between May and August, and Arnica montana is cryptophyte which helps to survive even in the extreme coldestness of the weather. With the help of the Arnica, you can survive in the cold. With the help of the Arnica, you can survive in the darkness. It is pharmacologically active and used as anti-inflammatory and analgesic medicines. The main constituents of Arnica montana are essential pila, fatty acids, thymol, and pseudoglutenine, squalene, lactones, and flavonoid glycosides. So this is and all these features are the anti-inflammatory and So they are painkillers also, and they remove the inflammation situations also. It is known as the leopard's bane. Why? A world spreads plant growing on the high mountain plants of the Germany. One of the oldest popular drug called German Wohlbefinden, which means bestowing well-being, having nothing to do with the wolves, as our learned French colleagues suppose. It is also called flocard, meaning the herb used after the falls. And 200 years ago, Feld called it the Panacea, Lapsorum. Panacea means the remedy and the solution for everything. Arnica montana has a traditional and historical use of medicinal plant for centuries. It was used for the treatment of sanguineous infusion, lesion, and ecchymosis. Both had external and internal applications. In the mid of 1700, Arnica was introduced by Stolz, describing as quinquina of the poor, as he used it for the epidemic dysentery and intermittent fever. It became most popular as anti-inflammatory and analgesic medicines which have proved to be mixed. Clinical trials have proved it to be the mixed views. Samuel Hahnemann, father of homeopathy, in his Fragmenta de Veribus, medicamentorum positivus sive in sano corporo humano observatis has pointed out and made the first proving of the Arnica. So how you see how the handyman was attracted with this plant as early as during his first writings or first proving of, about the medicinal plants. Hahnemann has recognized the great anti-inflammatory and analgesic medicines at the very early stage, and one of the first proving was done with the roots of Arnica montana, which was included in 1805, and it was published in Fragmenta Divivus Medicamentorum Positivus, sine in sano corporo humano observatis, with 117 symptoms, which were his own observations and 33 quotations. In the Metra Medica Pura, and in 1811, his observations grew up to 175 symptoms in the Metra Medica Pura, and in 1812, the number of symptoms increased to 278, were included in the second editions. And contribution of these symptoms were also from his student, and now in the third editions, in 1830, it contains 638 symptoms. An increasing trend of symptoms and addition in Metra Medica Pura were considered as mixing of symptoms as obtained from Arnica prepared from roots and also from the flower. Now the controversy are there in the preparations of the Arnica montana. The Hahnemann started proving with the roots, but later on some people also started proving on the flowers. The symptoms grew up because the medicines which were prepared or from the flowers has got the different presentations with the roots. So there are the mixed understanding about the symptoms of the Arnica montana in our homeopathic system of medicines. And first, as I told you, the Fragmenta contains 170 symptoms, which were the Hahnemann's observations and with 33 quotations. And then the first volume of the Metra Medica Pura in 1812, which runs from 236 to 248 page, where his own symptoms increased to 175, and quotations from the old book, never considered of any importance of real homeopathic practitioners, to 55. So in the second editions again, in 1822, it is from page number 471 to 503, Hahnemann's symptoms had increased to 278. And it was almost adding, proving from his own students. He examined each prover with the utmost care and scrupulousness, and the symptoms had increased to 340. And now, in the third editions in 1830, soon after there were 638 symptoms with only 46 additions. A great many reports of so-called poisoners have been given in the journals. We can see still the number of symptoms are growing. Still the number of the symptoms are growing. You go to the Radar Opus, you go to the repertory, you will find Arnica in almost every rubrics and in every place where the thoughts on the injury is related. The condition of flower, it was observed that results coming from the tincture prepared from the flower contains the Arnica fly. What happens? The flower attracts the flies, bees. They come to suck the honey from them, and they also sometimes lay egg on these plants. And these unforeseen flower contains the vegetable or animal characteristics also. So the medicines proved from the Arnica flower roots are different from the Arnica flower because Arnica flower contains the seeds, eggs, or the larva of the fly. So, and it is said that anthrax maculatus. So, symptoms are also very much important related to the anthracinum, our homeopathic medicines. And the larva born live on the seeds which do not prevent the development of flower but only haste to ripening of the seed. Nearly all the flowers have the same eggs, worms, and or excrete, and the other remains the worm and action proves to be similar to that of canthritis. So you can see the similarity between the canthritis, symptoms of the canthritis and symptoms of the Arnica montana, which were taken from the Arnica flower. Recent additions in the synthesis repertory includes 4,560 rubrics, and proving of the Arnica montana are said to be followed. Heading mentioned an interesting tidbits regarding the toxicological record of Arnica, which contains symptoms not confirmed in proving of the roots. The bulk of the toxicological reports are from the aerial portions of the plant, particularly the flowers, which invariably contains the egg, worms, and pupae of the Arnica fly, that is Anthrax maculatus. Herring encouraged a formal proving of the insects, which he suggests produces symptoms reminiscent of the canthris. You see, this flower, this insects seated on the flower, laying eggs or making the pupa on this flower. The aspirin of homeopathy. Arnica was given the name aspirin of homeopathy, and in the Department of Plastic Surgery in Queen Victoria Hospital in West Sussex, England, 37 patients undergoing surgery for carpal tunnel syndrome participated in double-blind study. The researcher administered homeopathic Arnica tablet and herbal Arnica ointment to patients and concluded that there was a significant reduction in the pain in the Arnica treated groups. So it has been nicknamed as also as the aspirin for the homeopathy. Now coming to the some characteristics feature, the thematic understanding of the Arnica. It is starting from sleep. As I told you, the Arnica patients get excited or remain in a fearful mood when the night comes. It is caused by the frightful dreams after an accident or injury, awakes in terror, horror of instant death, patients who are fearful, but fear remains at night after an accident. After the accident, post-accidental fear. Post-accidental fear is an important theme which comes out, emerges out as representing the night and the darkness of the life. What is going to happen? What will be the problem? What will be my fate? And this brings great fear and the fright, and life gets filled with that horror. So after the post-traumatic effects of the Arnica montana are very important. The patient who worry and exaggerate trivial symptoms, they are careful. What is going to happen? So they will, even the smallest problem, it seems to be big to them. And they will explain that problem as if it is a great problem, as if the life is in danger. The small pain at any part of the body, they feel it to be very sensitive in nature. The mental general, you will see the mental general and the elements from the injury. In the mental plane, you will get the traumatism or grief, remorse, sudden financial loss, fright or anger. And on the physical general, physical part, physical especially the soft part, and due to the mental or physical shock. So you can conclude that Arnica can be used then causations for the arnica are the mental or the physical shock. And with these features, they are very much aware with their past experience, nothing will happen to me. The past experience, nothing will happen to me. Their courage get excited, and even with the problem, the greatest problem, the Arnica people will say, well, no, I don't have the problem. Body, whole body oversensitive, wants to be left alone. He says there is nothing the matter with him and send the doctors away. So I have seen a patient, a child, who was very much courageous and curious, and he was watching the car being washed in a very deep place, and where every time it was a danger to fall, and he got fallen into it. But after getting fallen, he said nothing has happened to him, in spite of the fact that his hand was fractured. So they are oversensitive, and they feel and try to protect their emotions out. They don't want to display the fear or the courage outside. This is important things that we have to think about. Say it well. It is one wonderful rubrics that you can get in the report. Say it well, even with the greatest problem, with the greatest pain, and they will say, no, I don't have that problem. And so they have the nightmares after the accident. Now, sir, I had been dashed like this. I got fractured. If I would have fallen into more, so now the thoughts are coming. The post-accidental thoughts. It would have taken my life. My life would have ended. And with this, they have got the great fear. So it is called the nightmares after the accident. And with this, they don't want to be touched. Don't touch me. And fear of being touched. So patients are hypersensitive. And so for those two reasons, the Arnica people will say, doctor, I don't need a doctor. Why? Because they don't want to be disturbed. They don't want there to be courage to be the fright that is coming within themselves to be exposed to others. So this is the unique feature that where you see the fear and courage being combined together to keep themselves standing up. The only theme is to keep themselves standing up, to keep themselves alive in the life. An anxiety disorder characterized by a fear of being touched. This is purely a mental condition. There can be several reasons for which such a fear arises. It is not unusual to see it in case of PTSD or sexual trauma or abuse, element from being sexually abused or being abused. If such abuse occurs when very young, the people may not remember why they have this fear, and it can appear to be the causeless unconsciousness from shock or fear, unconsciousness but answer correctly when spoken to. Allodynia. It is a patient who avoid being touched. Allodynia is the features where people don't want to be touched due to the causing pain rather than fear. Although they can then develop a fear from this experience, fear of the pain. This condition involves central pain sensitizations and increased response of neurons following stimulations that is normally non-painful. Again, Arnica could fit such as conditions very nicely. They are sensitive to touch, can be translated into a much deeper tissue of the emotional sensitivity. Arnica is indicated for patients who avoid human contacts. They desire solitude, they want to remain silent, taciturn, mood repulsive, brooding, aversion to company, and with the pains. This may even be or perhaps especially with those they love, estranged from their family members, aversion to be touched by their own children, aversion to sympathy from the others. And even the light touches or of love and friendship can be too much for the deep traumatized Arnica persons and where they feel aggravations from the consolation. So they remain isolated. They try to remain isolated. They don't allow anyone to come near to them. This only to hide their pain, only to get reconciling features for their life. So nightmares, as I told you, it appears more closer to the world of the host. And as the night deepens, you may see a proud, overconfident, egoistic person during the day, but a terrified child at night at the mercy of the supernatural. And heat are the aggravating factors. Heat are the aggravating factors and cold watering ameliorate. So the pain, when you put the warm fermentations there, they feel bad. But when you put the cold fermentations, they feel good. And this is one of the basic features physical gender property. Then bad effects of mechanical injury, even of remote measure. The head injury was in the child, but the suffering started at the late age of the 15 or more than that. Then sore, bruised sensation, the pain's nature are sore, bruised sensation all over the body or the affected part. Sensation as if bed is too hard, has to change positions frequently. They have to change their positions frequently. Then extreme sensitiveness of the body, aversion to aversion to and fear of the touch. So this is the extreme. The patients become highly sensitive, and the discharges are very offensive. Either it is the respirations, it is the taste, it is the ejaculations, vomit, splatters, stool, sweat, and it is like the spoiled eggs, spoiled eggs. And pain as if beaten. The pains are, the nature of the pain are as if they have been beaten by a stick or they have been fallen on the rocks. Hemorrhagic tendency, bruised easily, person who remain long impressed or even slightest mechanical injury aggravates. Slightest mechanical injury aggravates. And mental symptoms alternate with the uterine symptoms. This is important. Alternating symptoms are there. The mental features are there. And this is the alternating states of the problem. The problem increasing throughout the day and problem increasing in the night and getting ameliorated in the day. The mind represents the day and the uterine represents the night. So it is alternating symptoms of the Arnica montana. There are some particular symptoms which can be draw your attention as a characteristic feature: constant dribbling of urine after the labor or retention of the urine, congestion of head and heat, nose and body are the colds, violent cough with bloody expectorations after mechanical injury, sore feelings in the chest, and hoarseness or cough over exertions of larynx, singer, clergyman, and the military people. You can see the people is getting not unable to sing, and he was a great singer. Why? Because the throat larynx become overexerted, and the hoarseness, and it is the injury of the larynx, injury of the soft part where this Arnica montana can be used. Pains in muscles, sore, bruised, and aggravated by the touch after overexertion or the long walk. Typhoid fever, stupor, soreness, involuntary stool, and urination, and the stool are very offensive. Very painful acne and small balls. See, when we add the word very, it includes the sensitiveness. High fever with red, hot head, cold body, a small patchy, and aversion to touch. Belladonna has the smooth red skin. Then left-sided paralysis and full strong pulse, sighing, muttering, and strenuous breathing and unconsciousness. Prevent postpartum hemorrhage and puerperal complications if given just after the delivery. And meningitis, epilepsy from traumatic injury, and gout or rheumatism, and great fear of being touched. So you can see this Arnica montana to be actively involved with every sphere of the body, but the great importance goes to those parts which are very, very sensitive. The blood, it is the mobile tissue, it is the blood vessels, the carrier of the bloods, the nerves, the carrier of the informations, muscle, the carrier of the strength, digestive system, and right-sided and the left-sided. So friends, it is important that you can see where the Arnica symptoms can be displayed well all over the body. Modalities are very important. Arnica is worse by any type of the injury. It may be the mental, it may be the physical, bruise, shock, jarring, and liver overaggression, spraying, touch after sleep, motions, old age, alcohol, rest, lying long on a one-sided. See how the injury is getting worse. Keeping in the seated positions and you don't feel comfortable after some times. So one-sided features or sedentary habits also gives the pain and cold blowing nose. They are better by lying with head low, outstretched, and open air, cold air, bathing, uncovering, and changing positions and sitting erect. Friends, they have the dislike for meat, milk, smoking, soup, brandy, cold drinks, drinking water, and tobacco. They desire sour things, whiskey, alcohol, beer, cold drinks, pickles, and vinegar. They become worse after eating, and they become worse after wine. So these features are important for understanding the mental general of this patient. So summary, you can summarize this Arnica montana to be a sore, bruised feeling after with the mechanical injury, fear of being touched and being approached. Offensive putrid discharge is very important. Head hot and body cold. Head hot and body cold. And starting from sleep after accident, fright, and aggravations in the night. So with these features, you can see how the Arnica montana is there with you. So we have a better understanding about the Arnica montana when you go into the details. Keep reading and go to the text, original text of Dr. Herring's Guiding Symptoms and the Clark Dictionary, where you get a better meaning for this Arnica montana. Friends, it is important features that I have tried to mention before you. And before you go into this medicines in details, and you must read it repeatedly and try to perceive and assimilate the thoughts, assimilate the idea in the books and what I have spoken today. And then only you can imbibe the spirit of learning homeopathic mathematics. The homeopathic mathematics is not simply reading, it is not simply listening, it is an aspect where you have to imbibe, where you have to experience and you have to bring the sensation for that. This sensitization is very much important for our understanding of any of the homeopathic medica, any of the homeopathic medicines. So friends, keep reading, keep learning, and keep assimilating. Digestion will become complete when you take the food inside. You get the taste of the food, but you cannot get the benefit of the food until you assimilate it properly. Assimilation system becomes proper. Then only you can understand the value of that medicine. The value of the medicines is very important for us to feel, and this can make you a better understanding for the any of the homeopathic medicine. Today I have tried to explain the type of the nature of the human being that make them feel injury, that make them feel good, that they make them feel bad. And this aspect is very important for every aspect of our learning. We have to be very careful about what we learn, what we assimilate, so that we must have the clarity of mind before you prescribe. You don't prescribe Arnica montana for every situation. For every situation, it has to be Arnica montana. The person has to be Arnica montana. He has to be courageous. He has to be sensitive. He has to be touchy. He has the sympathetic and extreme emotional aspects is very important for the Arnica montana. It has to be very important, confident type of the persons to survive and travel and love for the adventures. Even after the injury, the Arnica people will try to undertake new ventures, new adventures, and they will keep on carrying on their life so that they don't get discouraged any moment of their life. So friends, it is very important things that we have to understand about this. Any of the homeopathic medica, any of the homeopathic medicines. So with this, I thank you very much for having a very patient listening to me, and I hope we can get many more information about these medicines. Thank you. And with this, we have come to the close of this session.